Hi everybody. Give you a few minutes to hop on with us, and in the meantime, if you have not been on with us live on a Tuesday night before, then welcome. My name's Lindsay. This is Jess. We're here Tuesday nights at 7:30 answering questions that are sent in by you guys. Sometimes it's a topic, sometimes it's a question. And all of the replays are available. The best way to get the replay is to sign up for our email list, which you can do by hitting the sign up button on the cover page of our Facebook page. You can find it in the bio on our Instagram. You can also find it on our website. Just about every page there's a little pop-up that comes up, asks you if you want to subscribe. If you subscribe, you get the replay sent directly to your inbox on Tuesday mornings, as well as a heads up about what we're talking about in our live, and we invite you to respond to that email with questions or comments so that we can answer them when we're live. The other thing you can do if you have not visited our website for a while and there's a topic that you're looking for some support on is to go to our website, hayescofellperformancehorses.ca, and check out the education tab, because in that education tab, all of these lives are saved in there, and there is a search bar where you can type any keyword that you're looking for, and anytime that we've talked about it in one of these lives will come up. There's a transcription, it'll come up. You can see if that's what you're looking for help on, and you can either watch it as a video or you can listen to it as an audio file while you walk your dog or clean your stalls or drive to the barn or whatever it is that you're doing. Looks like you guys are jumping on. Hi Robin, hi Rose, hi Kim. Super. So tonight what we're going to talk about is how to take care of your blued steel bits and spurs, and we're just going to talk a little bit around what is blued steel and why do we need to do any kind of maintenance with it, answer any questions that you guys have about that as we go along. So if you have questions, just go ahead and drop them in the comment box. We'll try to get to them live. If you're catching the replay, then you can still leave your questions and we'll try to come back and make sure that those get answered. And what else? Shout out. You want to do a shout out?
Two of them, actually.
Oh, two. Well, go on.
I think we do a big shout out to Don Pletch, who we haven't, for anybody that doesn't know, Don helps us out incredibly. I've had horses for him for years, and he, the last two cow horse shows, he's put NRCHA checks on his mare both shows. And the neat part about it is a couple years ago Don got really sick and we weren't really sure
how much riding he was going to be able to do.
Well, even worse than that, there was a point where we were pretty scared for Don, and he's back riding, a couple new knees and a new shoulder and a
lot of new body parts.
Big shout out to him, and we always appreciate Don because he's always the guy that if anybody needs something.
Don also helped us out 2 weekends ago with trailering some horses around when we got cut short. So
whenever you need something, Don's the guy.
Don's there. Yeah.
The other shout out, I
don't think he watches these, but shout out Don.
His daughter does, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Who is not a horse person.
Yeah. So Amanda, if you could pass that on.
The other shout out is one of the people that we deal bits for, Dutton Bits. Kyle, who is the son of Greg and Dolores Dutton. Kyle and one of their very long time employees who has been there, well, I've been dealing bits for him for 20 years and he was there before me. And anyways, Bruce and Kyle just signed the papers last week and they now own Dutton Bits, and Greg and Dolores are retiring.
I didn't know this. This is news to me. I'm finding out live with everybody.
Kyle and Bruce are now
cool. That's cool.
Which, I mean, they've been, I'm not going to say running the thing, they've been kind of the go-to people when you go to their booth at the Congress or you call they've been heavily involved for many years. And so they're now, Greg and Dolores are officially retired. And as Kyle said, his dad is still working. And they're not sure how to make him retire, but good for him.
Does Dolores still answer the phone?
I don't know.
Yeah, good to know.
when I called today, he did. So I just thought that was kind of neat. He said,
cool.
oh shoot, what did he say? Greg been selling bits for 40-something years. So that's kind of neat. They're family of very talented ropers, and
that's
just
somebody
very
that
nice
it would have
people.
been cool to get on the live. We should have had a guest. Nobody ever wants to guest with us. We should have asked them if they wanted to come on live. They might have just said no.
Greg's not the most talkative person, but who knows?
Bruce will chat though.
But good for them. 40-some years bit making, and
Yeah,
heck
cool.
of a business, and they work very hard.
Pass it down. It's cool.
Yeah, so I just thought that was pretty neat when I was talking to them today. Good for them.
That's a good shout out. Okay, so blued steel. First of all, somebody's watching this and they are like, what the heck is blued steel and why do we have to take care of it? Do you want to explain that? Hold on, I know what I'm doing. There you go. Gotta hold it up a little more.
So most of the bits on the market are either going to be stainless or blued, or iron, whatever you want to call them. And one of the reasons we use a lot of these blued steel is they're a nice soft metal. The horses salivate, they really like them. The downside is they're a soft metal and they rust. And I always tell everybody, let them rust.
Yeah, what do you do to take care of it? Nothing.
Yeah, I
Don't take care of it.
prefer to let them rust up.
Yeah.
And some people, though, they want it to stay looking new on the outside. They want that look, that, you know, the new look, the sharper look, I guess. And that is perfectly fine. Maintenance of the mouthpiece, don't touch it. Some people, if you want to put like a vegetable oil or something on there, you know, that's fine. But if you don't touch it and it rusts a little bit, your horse will actually like it. When you watch them horses grab hold of a rusty bit, they salivate, they really get into that a little bit more.
So let me see this one because somebody is watching this and doesn't even know what we're talking about. So that's a brand new one. Hold that one up.
Brand spanking new.
Oh, this is one that is
Not brand spanking new.
has been on a bridle and has rusted, and it's actually coming off on my hands.
So for a lot of people, they don't like the looks of the rust. And that's fine. It truly doesn't matter on the shank. The horse doesn't care on the shank. The only thing
Judge doesn't care either.
if you're that close to the judge, you got some problems.
Well, when they bit check,
Well,
they don't care
I
if
guess
your
at that
bit's
point.
rusty.
But if you do want to keep it, you know, non-rusty, the maintenance is actually very similar to a gun. It's the same type of steel. They will rust. And all that you really need to do with one of these is you take a, where's that white glove at? It's very sophisticated. If we have some that are in the shop, and we have really, really bad sulfur here, so everything rusts. Appliances, everything in the house, everything rusts around this place.
Yeah.
We have really, really bad sulfur, so it's in the air. So even some of our new bits are going to rust a little bit, and to clean them, I just take a regular white rope, well, I call them roping gloves, but a cotton glove, and I soak it in either like a WD-40, this one here is a different brand, but the same thing, a penetrant oil, or the other one is a just 3-in-1 oil.
That's the French side. It's going to be backwards for them, but 3-in-1 oil.
Well, you get the hint
Yeah.
with the look of the thing. You know, bought at Canadian Tire and TSC and anywhere else. And you just put a little bit on that glove. And the reason I use the glove is it's a little tidier. They never come off when you really want them to. And I'll just put a little bit on that glove. You don't need a ton. I usually end up wearing the oil more than... And then you literally just take it and just keep rubbing it. And, you know, get in everywhere, get in all the cracks and crevices. And the glove just makes it so much easier, I find, than a rag. And the more you rub it, of course, if there's a little bit of surface rust, it will come off. If you have a bit that has silver on it, very few bits actually have sterling, so, you know, really high-end silver on it. But if it's just a copper or brass mixture, just a little bit of toothpaste works really good. You know, just scrub it. The biggest thing with it is tinker with it. Just sit there for a little while and just tinker with it, and that rust will come off gradually. Things to don't take a wire brush to it. Don't take any type of grinding tools or anything like that. Just take your time, it'll come off, it'll work. The oil will take its way. If it needs to sit,
can you do that on that Spur so we can have a really cool before and after? That would be really fun.
So there's an old Spur of mine, one that I use all the time.
Compared to what they look like when they're new.
Right. So if I take a really old one, and I like,
Where'd your glove go?
you know, I'll buy old bits or whatever, and sometimes they're not in the best of shape. And at that point, what you're actually best to do is soak it in either WD-40 or Coke. Actually works really well. I don't know what there is in pot, but boy, it'll sure take the rust off of iron.
That's what it was first made for, I think, right? Coke? Fun fact.
I thought the fun fact with Coke was that wasn't it originally made with cocaine?
But, no, I don't think. Well, who knows? I think Coke was originally made as like a fuel or as like a WD-40.
Oh, that I don't know. And then when it's really rusty, I'll let them sit for a while. You know, I'll soak them in something, leave them be, just, you know, put them in a dish full of it and just let it sit there. And then you just want to sit there and play with it. Now, if there's a lot of like I say, we have really bad sulfur here, so we will get a lot of surface rust. And about the only thing I'll ever scrub on one, and I don't do it if it has silver on it, but I'll take these little sanding pads, you just get them up a Canadian Tire, and I think they're for drywall actually. They're soft and they're hardly any kind of grinding to them. But you can take that and just grind away at it. You know, move it around. You can get in some crevices with it and just take your time and it'll come out. And then after you have all that pitting off from the top, I can't do this up here. It's kind of an awkward position.
But it looks really weird when you're doing it down there.
And you just keep, so just after 2 seconds, you know, there's that spur on that one side. So there's the rust, and then there it's getting back to its original, you know, coloring. And it doesn't take a terrible amount of time, but the more you tinker with it and just sit there, and it will come off. And then when you have that oil, that 3-in-1 oil, it will not allow it to rust, you know, near as well. Will gun oil work? Yeah, gun oil will work. Lots of people use 3-in-1 oil on guns. It's a little cheaper buying 3-in-1 oil. But because it's the same steel, the biggest thing is though, is just sit there and tinker with it. You know, you just keep gently rubbing. You never want to grind into that thing really hard. I think you see a lot of people, you know, think they need a mechanical tool. And it just gets in there too hard.
Do you see a lot of people doing that? When you said don't take a grinder to it, I was like, oh my gosh, who would take a grinder to them? But I guess probably somebody did, yeah.
Oh, lots of people do, and
people
especially
take grinders to their Spurs and bits. Jeez Louise, I feel like that's a bad situation waiting to happen.
Well, it's people will inherit like old antiques.
It's like Tim the Tool Man Taylor, like.
Well, I don't think we're talking big grinders,
okay.
But you know, big sand, like a sandpaper or something, and they think they're gonna get into it real hard.
Yeah.
And taking your time with it is the biggest thing, and that's something and none of the bit guys will ever agree. Like if you ask them the best way to get some life back out of them old antique bits and stuff, the first thing is they always tell you don't touch it at all. It's actually, their antiques are more valuable if you leave them be than if you try to clean them all up and you wreck them a little bit. But you know, just a cotton glove, you know, and what did that take me? You know, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of just tinkering with it, and I haven't got into it that hard. It'll clean them up really well.
Okay, so some of the questions that we had, and if you guys have questions, then go ahead and leave them here. But one of the questions that we had was, should I be wiping down or rinsing my bit after every use? That's a common question. I think a lot of people, especially English riders, are taught to rinse it down or wipe it down after every use. Yeah,
you should. I think one of the big reasons is disease control from horse to horse. You know, especially if you're swapping that bit into other horses' mouths. Is there a need for it? No. You know.
To maintain it. So will it live longer? Will the bit last longer if you wipe it down every time?
I don't think so. No. I think especially the your reins is what's going to take the beating on there. You know, I've seen people dunk them in buckets of water and then hang them up, and those poor reins, whether they be rawhide or leather, you know, the ramels or the thing, they just get beat up. You know, and there shouldn't be hay and stuff on it because you shouldn't be letting them eat hay anyways. But I think the big thing is, you know, if you want to, just take your hand with a little water and that's fine. Take that off. Sometimes if I have a cricket and they got a little bit of that
grass,
yeah, that gook that's kind of already still in their mouth, you know, it'll get in that cricket and kind of jam it up a little bit, and then I will get in there and clean it out just a little bit. But definitely popular in the English world, but I think it's really hard more on the reins. You have to remember, I mean, a steel bit, I'm not saying I don't never wear them out. I wear them out, but I mean, my gosh, we're riding them. You know, I have bits that, you know, are on horses 6-7 hours a day, some of them.
So let's talk about wearing them out for a second, because that's kind of interesting. Okay,
so there's a wore out bit.
So that one's worn out.
And this is one of my favorite bits to ride in.
Yeah, that's gonna pop out there.
So stainless steel will last longer, and I completely agree with that. Everybody says, well, I don't want to replace them. A single person on a single horse is going to go years before they ever replace one. And to me, the benefits of the feel of blued steel well outweighs going to stainless. I think, you know, go to blued steel. You know, that one there is a few years old, and we use that one a lot. And the other nice part,
that one gets like multiple hours of use every day. You know, all week.
They deserve to wear out.
Yeah, that bit gets more use than one individual person will use probably in their lifetime. And it's not garbage when it wears out like that. We can ship it down to the makers and they'll refurbish it.
They'll redo them. Any good bit maker will redo mouthpieces.
Yeah.
They much prefer you just redo the mouthpiece and keep using your bits. I mean, it's the way it is. But I think blued steel, the benefits in the horse's mouth are just so much greater.
And not like, I notice it for myself, but I notice it a lot for students that I'm teaching. I notice, you know, as soon as we started using those blued steel bits, I just switched my lesson horses over to them because the lesson horses are so much happier with them. And same thing with Spurs. I try to encourage, we actually have a video all about this, but I try to encourage all my students to buy the blued steel Spurs because they have such a nice feel. It makes a difference in how the horse responds to your foot and your spur coming on when the metal has that softer feel. I'm sure the craftsmanship plays into it, how it's made as well, but just that softer metal has a nicer feel on the horse's side. They like it better. They have a better response, and that's huge. That's such a small thing to change, and then to have such a great response to. I think that's worth. And it's not. I don't think it's more expensive. What's the cost difference between a stainless steel bit and a blued steel bit right now? I don't even know what the stainless ones are worth right now. Everything's changing so rapidly. You can buy cheap
stainless steel and you can buy expensive ones, and that's the problem. Is
so you can buy
there's such a variation in any of them.
Yeah. So those Spurs that we showed, and those bits, these are like just over $100, 130 bucks for these ones. So if you're in the market and you're comparing prices, you can compare that to whatever you're looking at in stainless steel. But it's not a big difference if there is a difference.
See, I always thought you switched everything over just so you could steal all my stuff.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, was to steal all your dirty used up stuff. No, I switched over because I noticed the horses were happier in it. And if there's a way to get lesson horses happier, I'm all for it.
I don't know if there's any difference in the softer steel and the Spurs, but
I do.
I noticed
for sure.
The rowels are a big one. A lot of cheap Spurs have really sharp or really
small
hard
rowels.
rowels.
Yeah.
I think the rowel is the big one for me. I do think though, like when you get, like we're just kind of using it as Duttons because we've dealt for them for so many years. But when you grab new Dutton Spurs, they are oiled. They oil them right, you know, as they're coming out. And it's easier to do it right from the beginning. You know, if you take a new pair of Spurs and just put a little oil on them once in a while, it will stay better. But you can take an old one and bring it back to life, you know, just fine. It just takes a little time, and you know, like anything, it's easier to keep them looking good right from the beginning. But they I don't think it makes them last any longer. I think it just, you know, it's a look. Any of the ones that have silver on them, you know, everybody has their own preference. Some people like the rust with the silver, and some people like the clean with the silver, and both are fine. You know, it's the same thing when you go to clean them. Just soak them in 3-in-1 oil or Coke or WD-40 and just let them soak there for a while. And if they're really bad, just take your time and just keep rubbing them.
All right. Did we answer all those questions? So a couple of the other videos that we have that you might be interested in are the 3 bits that everyone should have, or Jess's 3 favorite bits. You can find that on the education page on our website. We talk about 3 bits that we think everybody should have, you know, hanging up in their tack room or their horse trailer or whatever to be able to use. And we have a video about 3 bits for aged show horses, which was a really good live that we did, with a bunch of information in there also about bits. And then the bits that we showed, the bits and spurs that we showed tonight, and the bits and spurs that are in those videos, they're available on our website. If you guys have questions about them, you can just shoot us a message and we can help you out with those. Okay, we're good. Looks like we answered. I think we answered everybody's questions here.
I feel like this one's a hard one to ask questions on because it's pretty cut and dry. You just clean them with the
simple.
oil.
There's Missy. Hi, Missy. And Tammy. Clean them
Kevin
with oil.
Simmons, who just sold his last horse, unfortunately.
To North Carolina? Is that what you said?
Yep.
South Carolina? North Carolina. All right.
Hopefully he'll change his mind and buy another one.
Well, it wasn't meant to be his last one, was it? He's going to buy another one.
I'm not sure. I think he was thinking that was his last one.
Wow.
Maybe now we can talk him into a quarter horse.
Talk him into a quarter horse next. Okay, thanks for watching. You guys, don't forget to check out those other videos or anything else that you might be looking for on our education page. And if you have questions or you have a suggestion for a future live, you can send that in to us at hayeskofellph@gmail.com. And we will either direct you to the education page on our website for the answer if we've already done it, or we'll set up a whole new live and make sure that we get your questions answered for you. Thanks for being here with us, and we will see you soon.
Have a good night.
Bye.